Army, stop everything you are doing right now. Put down whatever is in your hand. Close whatever tab you had open. Because BTS just dropped the Festa 2026 family photo, and I need you to understand something. I need you to really, truly understand what just happened. Because this is not just a photo. This is not just 7 guys smiling for a camera. This is a statement. This is proof. And most importantly, ParkJimin just walked into this photo with an aura that none of us were fully prepared for. Let me say that again. ParkJimin, in this photo, has a completely, entirely, 100% different aura than anything we have ever seen from him before. And by the time this video is over, you're going to understand exactly why and exactly what it means for where BTS is headed right now. So if you are new here, welcome. You picked the perfect day to show up. Hit that subscribe button because we are about to break this down in a way you're not going to find anywhere else. And if you are already part of this channel, you already know we do not just react. We go deep. We connect the dots. We tell the full story. So let's go. First, let's talk about what Festa even is, because if you don't fully grasp the weight of this tradition, you are going to miss why this photo hit the way it did. Every single year since 2014, BTS has celebrated their debut anniversary on June 13th with a series of releases, videos, and fan content called Festa. And every single year, the very first thing that drops, the very first piece of content that signals Festa has officially begun, is the BTS family photo. One group photo, all 7 members, dressed up, posed together, looking directly at the camera. That's it. That's the tradition. And it sounds simple, right? It sounds like a small thing. But ARMY knows better. Because every year, that photo carries the energy of wherever BTS is at that moment. Every year, that photo tells a story without a single word. You look at the 2019 photo, and you feel the peak momentum energy. They are at the top of the world and they know it. You look at the 2021 photo, and you feel something more contemplative, more heavy, because they were already beginning to talk about individual journeys. You look at the 2023 and 2024 photos, the ones taken while members were deep into military service, some of them already enlisted, and the energy shifts again. More bittersweet, more incomplete. But this year, June 4th, 2026, all 7 members are back. All 7 members are discharged. All 7 members completed what South Korea required of them, came home, dropped a full group album called Ararang, went on a world tour that sold out stadiums across multiple continents, racked up nearly 840,000 attendees in North America alone, won 3 AMAs, co-headlined a FIFA World Cup halftime show announcement, and now they are standing together for Festa. All 7 of them, fully together, fully free, fully here. So when I tell you this photo is different, I need you to understand the context from which it emerged. This is not just year 13 of BTS. This is the first festive photo of what ARMY is already calling the most powerful era of BTS's career. And Jimin, ParkJimin, is standing in that photo like he has fully arrived at something the rest of the world is only just beginning to understand. Now let's actually talk about Jimin specifically, because this is what you came here for. And I promise you the details matter. Look at the photo. Look at his posture first. This is not the Jimin of 2018, who carried so much visible pressure in his shoulders, the pressure of being criticized, of being doubted, of working himself to exhaustion just to keep up. This is not the Jimin of 2020, who was pouring everything into the group at a time when the group itself was navigating enormous uncertainty about their future. This is not even the Jimin of early 2025, who had just been discharged from military service, and was still finding his footing again in a world that had moved so fast while he was away. This Jimin, the Jimin standing in the Festa 2026 family photo, is standing like someone who has done the work. Like someone who went through something enormous and came out the other side not just intact, but elevated. His posture is relaxed, but it is not careless. His shoulders are down, but his presence fills the entire frame. He is not trying to take up space. He just does. And then there's his face. Let's talk about his face, because this is where it gets real. The expression Jimin is carrying in this photo is something I genuinely do not have a historical parallel for. It is calm. It is confident. But it is not the forced confidence of someone performing for the camera. It is the quiet, settled confidence of someone who knows exactly who they are. Someone who went deep inside themselves during 2 years of military service, asked the hard questions, did the internal work that nobody sees, and came back with answers. Jimin has always been the member who wore his emotions closest to the surface. He is the one who cries at concerts. He is the one who says, out loud on stage, in Rolling Stone interviews, that he sometimes felt insecure within BTS. He's the one who, when he dropped his solo album Face in 2023 before enlistment, poured his actual psychological state into the track list. Songs about facing yourself, about breaking a false persona, about the exhausting work of becoming who you actually are. And now, he is on the other side of that journey. He went through Face, he went through military service, he came back and co-wrote songs on Arirang, including Into the Sun with Tyler Johnson. He stood on stages in Tampa, El Paso, Mexico City, Stanford, Las Vegas, performing for hundreds of thousands of people, and now he is standing in this festive photo looking like someone who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. Not the critics, not the industry, not even himself. That is a different kind of aura. That is not manufactured. That is earned. Let's zoom out for a second and put this in the full Festa 2026 context, because the photo is just the beginning, and what's coming in the next 10 days makes this even more significant. Festa 2026 runs from June 4th all the way through June 13th, which is BTS's actual 13th debut anniversary. And the lineup of what big hit music has planned for the celebration is genuinely one of the most stacked Festa schedules in the history of this tradition. On June 5th, we are getting a performance video for Hooligan, one of the standout tracks from Arirang. On June 7th, a normal log drops, which is exactly the kind of behind-the-scenes, fly-on-the-wall content that ARMY lives for. On June 8th, a 13 side film, another documentary-style piece that is going to give us a look at BTS in a way that a concert stage simply cannot. Then on June 10th and 11th, the moment that has had ARMY screaming since the schedule was announced, Run BTS 2.0 returns. If you know, you know. Run BTS was the variety series that showed the world that BTS were not just performers, they were genuinely funny, chaotic, competitive, ridiculous human beings who loved each other in the most unscripted way possible. The previous installment has nearly 30 million views on YouTube. The return of Run BTS is not just content, it is a cultural event. And then June 12th, the centerpiece of the entire Festa calendar. 3 things drop simultaneously. First, a limited edition 613-picture disc vinyl of Arirang. Second, and this is the one that has fans losing their minds, the official digital release of Come Over. Now, if you're not familiar with Come Over, let me explain why this matters so much. Come Over was produced by Suga. It has been available exclusively on the deluxe vinyl edition of Arirang since the album dropped in March, meaning only people who physically purchased the deluxe vinyl have been able to hear it. Everyone else has been waiting. And this song, from every description and reaction I have seen, is a direct message to ARMY. A song about reconnection, about coming back to the people who have been waiting for you. Written and produced by Suga, who was the last member to be discharged, who served as a social service worker due to a shoulder injury, who came back quieter and more deliberate than before. The fact that Come Over drops digitally on the same day as the Busan concert, BTS's first Busan performance since 2022, the hometown of Jimin and Jungkook, is not an accident. Nothing in BTS's rollout strategy is ever an accident. And then June 13th, the actual anniversary day, wraps with a congratulatory video. 13 years, all 7 members present. The wheel comes full circle. Now bring it back to Jimin. Bring it back to that photo. Because here is the thing about the Festa family photo, it is always a preview. It is always a first look at the energy that is about to unfold across the next 10 days. And what Jimin is projecting in this photo, that settled, sovereign, fully arrived aura, that is the energy of everything that is coming. The performance videos, the Run BTS chaos, the Come Over release, the Busan concerts, Jimin is going to be at the center of all of it. And he is going to meet every single moment from exactly the place you see in this photo. Let me go even deeper now, because I want to talk about the journey that brought Jimin to this photo. Because a lot of people who are just now discovering BTS in the Arirang era, and there are millions of them, by the way, the numbers prove it, they might not know the full arc. They might see this photo and think, oh, Jimin looks great. And yes, he does. But ARMY, who has been here from the beginning, is seeing something so much more layered than that. Jimin has been, for much of BTS's career, simultaneously one of the most beloved and one of the most scrutinized members. The love is undeniable. His fanbase, the people who call themselves Jimin, is one of the most passionate and dedicated in the entire K-pop world. But the scrutiny has been real, and it has been relentless. Questions about his vocal technique, comparisons to other members, debates about his role within the group's sonic identity. Jimin has heard all of it. He has read the comments. He has internalized some of it, by his own admission. He said in that Rolling Stone interview from the May 2026 8-cover issue that there were periods where he felt genuine insecurity within BTS. That he worried whether he was enough. That he sometimes could not see his own value clearly. Let that land for a second. ParkJimin, one of the most technically gifted dancers alive, a vocalist with a range and emotional expressiveness that makes entire arenas go silent, a songwriter who co-wrote multiple tracks on a #1 Billboard album, a performer who can make 60,000 people cry just by standing still on a stage, that ParkJimin, at certain points in his career, questioned whether he was enough. And that is why this photo matters so much. Because what you are seeing in Jimin's face right now is not just good lighting or a great outfit. What you are seeing is the result of someone who faced that insecurity head-on. Who made an album called Face about it. Who served 2 years in the military where there was no stage, no camera, no applause, just himself, his thoughts and time. Who came back, stood in the rehearsal room, sang into the sun, into existence, walked onto a stage in Tampa and delivered a performance that had people in the audience saying they had never seen anything like it. And who now, is standing in a festive photo looking like someone who has finally, completely, made peace with being ParkJimin. That is the aura shift. That is what everyone is responding to without always being able to articulate it. The photo has not changed Jimin. Jimin has changed, and the photo is just the first place we can see it clearly. Now I want to talk about what this means for BTS as a group, because Jimin's energy in this photo does not exist in isolation. Look at all 7 members. Really look. Jin, the oldest, who enlisted first, who served fully, who came back and has been radiating this specific kind of young energy that is equal parts warmth and absolute confidence. In this photo, Jin looks like the foundation. Like the guy who knows exactly what he is and is completely unbothered by anything that is not that. RM, who never stopped creating during the break, who has the SMOMA exhibition opening in October, who grew into something philosophically deeper and more grounded during the period away. His presence in this photo is thoughtful, measured, the quiet weight of a leader who leads by being exactly himself. Suga, always the one who communicates most through what he does not say. In this photo, Suga looks relaxed in a way that is genuinely new. The tension that used to live around his eyes, the hypervigilance of someone who processes everything and never stops, it is softer now. Not gone, but softer. J-Hope, the one who was discharged early, who performed at Lollapalooza, who kept the energy alive in the in-between years. J-Hope in this photo looks like pure momentum. Like someone who has been ready for this moment for a long time and is finally standing inside it. V, who always looks like he exists slightly outside of normal human time in the best possible way, is carrying that same otherworldly composure in this photo. There is depth behind his eyes that feels specifically post-military, specifically earned. Jungkook, the youngest, who came out of military service looking, if possible, even more like a leading man than before, is standing in this photo with a kind of quiet power that golden era Jungkook fans are going to recognize immediately. And in the middle of all of that, Jimin, connecting all of it. Not the loudest presence in the photo, but somehow the one your eye keeps coming back to. Because that is what Jimin does. He does not demand your attention. He earns it. And in this photo, he is earning it from a place of such complete internal stability that it almost feels unfair. 7 men, 13 years, every stadium filled, every record broken, every obstacle cleared, and this is what they look like now. This is what they are walking into Festa 2026 with. This is what they are going to bring to Busan on June 12th. This is what they are walking into the FIFA World Cup halftime show with in July. This is what they are headlining iHeartRadio Music Festival in September with. And it starts right here, with this photo, with Jimin's face in this photo. I want to take a moment to talk directly to anyone watching this who has been following Jimin specifically, not just as a BTS fan, but as someone who has been tracking his individual journey. Because the Festa photo is one data point, but when you stack it on top of everything else that has happened in the last few months, the picture that emerges is extraordinary. Go back to the Arirang World Tour North America leg. Tampa, Jimin freestyling during a concert break, moving in a way that looked like pure instinct, like his body forgot that 60,000 people were watching. El Paso, the moment with the cowboy hat from the fan, Jimin took it, put it on, and the entire arena just lost it, because he met that moment with such genuine playfulness that it was impossible not to feel it. Mexico City, 3 shows that became their own cultural phenomenon. Jimin's Spanish message to the crowd mid-concert. The coverage in Forbes about his Mexican Spotify streaming numbers. The visit to Chapultepec Castle. The image of BTS at the Zocalo Square balcony with thousands of fans below them. These were not just concert moments. These were historical moments. And Jimin was in the middle of every single one of them, delivering with the kind of consistency that only comes from someone who is completely locked in. Stanford, Las Vegas, 500 shows combined across the North America leg, close to 1 million people, and Jimin never had an off night. He never phoned it in. He never gave anything less than everything. And every night, ARMY left those arenas saying the same thing. Something is different about Jimin. Something has shifted. He seems free in a way he did not before. And now you are looking at the Festa photo, and you are seeing it visually for the first time. The freedom that showed up on stage is now showing up in his face, in his posture, in the way he occupies his own space in a photo with 6 of the most charismatic men on the planet. ParkJimin has arrived. And by arrived, I do not mean he finally made it, because he made it a long time ago. I mean he has finally arrived at himself. At the fullest, most uncompromised version of who he actually is. Let me also just briefly touch on the broader cultural moment BTS is standing in right now, because it matters for understanding why this festive photo carries so much weight. BTS are preparing to co-headline the FIFA World Cup final halftime show on July 19th at MetLife Stadium, alongside Madonna and Shakira. Think about what that sentence means. The FIFA World Cup final. The single most watched sporting event on the planet. A halftime show that will reach audiences in every country on Earth. And BTS is on that stage. They have won 3 AMAs. Swim has tied Dynamite for the longest #1 run on the Billboard Global excluding US chart. The Arirang World Tour is on pace to become one of the highest-grossing tours in music history. They just announced they're headlining the iHeartRadio Music Festival in September. RM has a museum exhibition opening at SMOMA in October. This is not a group that is writing nostalgia. This is not a legacy act playing reunion shows. This is a group that went away for 2 years, came back, and immediately reasserted themselves as one of the most dominant cultural forces in the world. And they are doing it with an intentionality and a clarity of purpose that is genuinely breathtaking to watch. And Jimin, this is the thing I keep coming back to, Jimin is not just along for the ride in this era. He is one of the primary architects of it. The co-writing credits on Arirang, the freestyle moments on tour, the viral fan interactions that become news stories in their own right. The aura in this festive photo that has everyone talking on day 1 of the celebration. Jimin is not just participating in this BTS era. He is defining it. So where does this leave us? What do we actually do with all of this? Here's what I want you to take away from this video. When you look at the Festa 2026 family photo, when you look specifically at Jimin in that photo, I want you to see the full story. Not just a handsome man in a white outfit who looks great. See the 13 years. See the trainee who worked so hard he could not sleep. See the performer who gave so much of himself on stage that it sometimes cost him. See the artist who sat with his own insecurity and decided to make an album about it instead of hiding it. See the soldier who spent 2 years stripped of everything that made him publicly Jimin and had to figure out who he was without all of it. And now see the man who came back from all of that and is standing in a festive photo looking like he has never been more at home in his own skin. That is the aura shift. That is why everyone who sees this photo immediately knows something is different without always being able to say what. Because you can feel it. You can feel that this is someone who has been tested and came through. Not unscathed, because real growth never leaves you unscathed. But whole, integrated, free. Festa 2026 has only just begun. In the next 10 days, we are going to get more content, more music, more Jimin, more BTS than we have had in a concentrated burst since the Arirang comeback in March. And every single piece of it is going to carry the energy that this photo is previewing for us right now. The performance video for Hooligan, the normal log, the Run BTS 2.0 chaos, the Come Over digital release, the Busan concerts, in the city that made Jimin and Jungkook on a stage they have not stood on together since 2022. All of it is coming, and Jimin is going to walk into every single one of those moments from exactly the place you see in this photo. That settled, sovereign, fully arrived place. That different aura that nobody can quite define but everybody feels. ParkJimin at 13 years. ParkJimin in 2026. ParkJimin right now. This is what it looks like. If you want to be here for all of it, for every breakdown, every analysis, every deep dive into what is happening with BTS and specifically with Jimin during this Festa period, make sure you are subscribed and that notification bell is on. Because we are covering every drop, every concert update, every moment from the Busan shows, every detail from Come Over when it finally goes digital, every frame of Run BTS 2.0, all of it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the first thing that hit you when you saw the Festa 2026 family photo? What did you notice about Jimin specifically? I want to know what you felt before you had words for it, because I genuinely believe that the initial gut reaction to this photo is one of the most interesting things about it. So tell me. I read every single comment. And if you want to go deeper on Jimin's journey, on the full arc from debut to face to military to Arirang, I've got videos on this channel that will take you all the way back to the beginning and show you exactly how we got here. The link is going to be on your screen right now. Watch it. You will come back to this photo with completely different eyes. Festa 2026 is here. 13 years of BTS. And ParkJimin has never looked more like himself. Let's go.